Hello. Um, Today we're looking at another music app review, in this case of musictheory.net, which is actually a website that has two companion apps uh, called Theory and Tenuto. So, Theory contains all the lessons that we see here on this tab, and Tenuto contain all the exercises where you can get to practice all the topics that you learn here. And this is new as far as the apps. They didn't have this years ago, and this is a great web page, a great way to learn about music theory, especially for my beginner bass students at basslessonsmiami.com. And the focus on this music app reviews has to do a lot with what bass students need and what I use mostly for teaching and sometimes for practicing myself too. So this allows me to spend the whole class time on bass related topics, and this will allow the students to learn on their own, and then they can bring questions back to me during class time about something that they didn't understand. So everything, as I said, all the topics that we see here, basics, rhythm and meter, scales, intervals, chords, are going to be covered on the companion app Music, which is right here in red. I have it open here. And then the exercises on Tenuto, okay? So very easy to use, very graphic. So I'm going to go quickly on theory. And talking about the basics, where the notes are, the stuff, and this kind of works almost like a slideshow where the things are going to move at a page depending on how you set it up here, or you can move on at your own pace. It's very graphic. It tells you where the notes are located and how they connected or related to piano. Explanation about the basic principles of scales and chords. So it's very, very handy and covers a lot of basic ground in a very easy and convenient way. I remember used to starting to having to write on paper an actual sheet music. Okay, let's move on to the other app, which is the one that we're going to use for the exercises and for practice, which contains some very handy things. Oh, ledger lines. What is that note up there? Well, that's a C. So if it's okay, it will show green, and if it's and it would also produce a sound. So this is really cool. And there's work for each particular topic that you see there. And I'll show you one or two of the ones that I really like. The ear trainings are really, really nice. You get to recognize the notes ear trainings, but I want to show you the fretboard identification. This is really handy for beginner bass players. Here we can change it to guitar, ukulele, all kinds of frets. So now we're looking at the open strings and the fret numbers. So fret number 8. And when I click on the note, it will play it as well. So it's pretty good and give us a good reference and a good, kind of game type of activity that kids, especially and other beginners, will appreciate. This one could be called D sharp or E flat. If you know your theory, that will work. And there's some handy calculators that will allow you to find out, what an interval is once you learn about the intervals. And I want to show you some of the ear training ones. So we have a reference note C, and then gotta find that other note, da-dee, that's a major second, and then we'll point it out. The note ear training is the same thing. Major 6 there is by note. We have interval ear training. We have interval ear training, scale ear training, where we have to pick up and select the scales. And we have chord ear training. This one got stuck into that minor. So really, 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 really handy. Interval, note, keyboard, scale, and chord. So I highly recommend it. Want to keep this under 5 minutes. Highly recommend it. Thank you.